How's it going? I'm Dan from Dan All Over the Place. Um, Today we're going to talk about something that has really reared its face in my life here in the last couple of months, and that is the crappy food we're eating. I've spent 35 years in the automotive repair industry, managing service shops, solving real day problems every single day, whether I was a tech or a manager over the last 18 years. And one thing that I've learned when a shop has an issue, you don't chase all of the symptoms of the problem. You go after the root cause. So if you're not making any money, you figure out what the problem is. If you have car count, you're still not making money, you're failing in sales, and on and on and on. And generally, that one big problem will have a host of problems that go along with it. And people like to pick on the other problems first because they're easier to try to solve than the big problem. Um, if we looked at health in the same way we do, it goes all the way back to our government. And I really don't like getting into politics, but this really is something that people are not paying attention to at all. Um, I, years and years and years ago, was at the mindset when they outlawed or banned red dye number 5 and the European nations were banning it. I was like, oh, those fucking pussies. They're a bunch of whiny ass little babies banning some food dye. No, there's a reason why. And the EPA, or not the EPA, excuse me, the Food and Drug Administration has allowed it back into the country. However long ago it was, I don't remember. But it does cause problems. Um, and it's scientifically proven to cause problems. Well, the politicians and the people that are paying the politicians are why it's now in our food. And other things are in our food too that we're eating in abundance of. The FDA says that they're okay in small quantities, and that one food that it's in, that they said, okay, that's fine, that quantity was fine, but now it's in everything. And I absolutely mean everything. So we need to start looking at our health. Oops, sorry. I only do one takes. I don't do multiples, so if I screw up, I just told my camera not to follow me anymore. So that stopped like that. Um, and calm down. I'm not telling everyone to go run marathons or do triathlons like I do or go live at the gym. See, there it goes again. I just told it to stop. Interruptions. It's wonderful. ADD. Distracted. Squirrel. Anyway, um, the food we're eating is not safe. We have epidemic levels of cancer, ADHD, Alzheimer's is skyrocketing. I bet that there's at least one person you personally know that has multiple sclerosis. And back when I was younger, I didn't know anybody that I knew that had multiple sclerosis. Um, and this all is coming from the food, in my opinion. And I believe there's other people that also can medically prove this. But the problem is the politicians are accepting money from special interest groups so that this continues, so that we have nice, good, cheap food. Okay? That lasts forever. I don't care if it lasts forever. I don't want to die because I eat something I like to eat and I think it's healthy for me and it's not. Um, there's been a lot of health food that isn't safe for you. I mean, look at Subway. What happened to them years ago when the word got out that they were putting yoga mat chemicals in your bread to make it fluffy like a yoga mat? Stuff like that that we're completely unaware of. Um, so everybody right now is arguing red or blue. I don't do that. I don't pick a side. All of my life, people have been asking me to pick a side. I don't pick a side. Sides are for sports teams, F1, drag racing, NASCAR, those type of things. I don't pick a side with my country. I like my country. I just think that we all have gone down this horrible rabbit hole of blue versus red, and if you don't pick a side, then you're looked at funny. I don't pick sides. It's called the country I live in. If I didn't like it, I would move, and then I would pick a different side. Get it? So anyway, I also don't pick a religion because there's been over 1,400 different religions on this planet since the dawn of man. If there was really truly a religion, there would be one, and there's not. So it's a belief system. Sorry, but religion is a man-made item. So is politics. So as soon as you remove yourself from anything that we've made up in our minds as being a belief system, you're starting to go down a very quick slope of stupidity, in my opinion. Um, the food is terrible. Dozens of chemicals being added every day. Titanium dioxide, artificial dyes, preservatives, gums, emulsifiers, you name it. Those are all fine as far as the FDA says in small amounts, but they're in everything now. I just looked at this health food that I've been eating now for 2 years, and I took a picture of the ingredients and I told ChatGPT to break down what I'm eating. There were about 7 different things that all said that they could contribute to bloating, gas, gut stress, in that department, your gut, your intestines, how you basically take a shit every day. And then they decide to throw in probiotics to counteract all of the bad things that they put in there so that this stuff will stay on the shelf forever. Yeah, I don't care if it stays on the shelf forever. I'll just throw it away. Half the time I throw it away anyway because it's been on the shelf too long. I don't understand why we have to have stuff that can be on the shelf after a nuclear blast. We're not in the Cold War anymore. I've often said that people that have a gluten intolerance is caused by something else. I will continue to say that. Everything you're eating has some kind of chemical in it that causes gut distress. So if you keep getting beaten up, per se, and you've got all of these cuts and stuff on your face, somebody keeps punching you and punching you and punching you, and you're putting band-aids on it and whatever, and you decide to go swim in the ocean, and all of a sudden your face is on fire because of all of these little cuts and stuff you've got. Are you susceptible to seawater? Yeah, you sure are, because you keep getting your ass handed to you in fights, and now you're in the seawater, and that salt in the water burns cuts. We all know this. So I believe that's the same thing that we're dealing with when you're talking gluten allergies or gluten intolerance or going down that road. We've all been eating these items that cause gut inflammation and gut irritation for decades now because the politicians just don't care. They don't care what our gut is. I was reading an article the other day that basically said your gut is your second brain. Your gut, if it is in good shape, can actually alter or change the way that your mental state is for the better. Or if you're eating terrible, it can make it go the opposite direction or worse. It can lead to anxiety, fatigue. The list goes on and on. Not just like you're bloated or you've got diarrhea or whatever. It actually like changes your hormonal level and kind of how you like function. So just imagine if we didn't have these items in our food and our gut felt good, which led to our brain feeling great. Do you think our suicide rates would be so high? Do you think we'd be mad at our neighbors because I'm blue and they're red, or I'm red and they're blue? Notice I'm not saying what red or blue mean, because the Crips and the Bloods did that, and we all know how that goes down. So I don't understand why people pick such definitive lines in the sand and don't move. Everybody knows I'm a huge Chevy fan and I hate Fords. I have several friends that have Fords, and I don't look at them any different. I just like to pick on the car that they drive. Just means that they're going to spend more money repairing their vehicle than I will. Even though now I drive a Mercedes, so whatever. I guess I'll spend more money now. So in the automotive world, when we would talk to customers about why is this so expensive, why does it take so long, the question used to be, you can get it good, you can get it fast, or you can get it cheap, but you can only pick two. So which one are you going to pick? If you pick good and fast, it's not going to be cheap. If you fix fast and cheap, it's not going to be good. So the same thing goes for food. You can get it healthy, convenient, or cheap. Pick two. If it's healthy and convenient, it's not going to be cheap. If it's convenient and cheap, it's not going to be healthy. It's the same difference. And unfortunately, this country has gotten into what I would like to call the Walmart good deals, cheap's better mentality on everything we do, including our food. When was the last time you picked up the label and actually looked at it? I tell you what, go to your cupboard after this video. Of course, I do want you to like and subscribe, just like every other YouTube person on the planet does, in hopes that if we can get to 1 million users in 40,000 years, that would be great. But go pick something out of your cupboard. Go download ChatGPT if you haven't already. Just buy you go to the App Store, download it. You can do the free one. Take a picture of the ingredients list and ask it to give you the pros and cons of what's in the product you just photographed. And read. It'll blow your mind. And do it with what you're going to put on your dinner table tonight. I want to see what you come up with, just because. So anyway, this cheap and convenient thing has just absolutely destroyed us. In the 80s, I grew up in the 80s. I'm a Gen X. My dad and my stepmom, who I love to death, were always on some kind of fad diet. This diet, that diet. And I remember that they came out with low sugar. No, don't do that. Sorry. Doing it again. I got to keep my hand under the table so the camera doesn't see the okay sign. They've always been on fad diets. Weight Watchers, whatever the fad diet of the day was, they were on. Yo-yo up and down, lose weight, don't lose weight, get frustrated because they hit a plateau. Honestly don't know where I was going with this, but I grew up in that environment. And I remember when they came out with no sugar or low fat, that's what it was. Low fat items. They told you not to eat avocados or guacamole because that was all fat and that would make you fat. Fat would make you fat. So what they ended up doing, and I don't know if any of you know this, is if you go to the grocery store tomorrow or tonight, or if you have a low fat item in your cupboard or refrigerator, whether it's milk, sour cream, butter, you name it, anything that says low fat on it, I guarantee you that the sugar content is higher, carbohydrate content is higher. If you're not exercising and you're sitting on the couch watching TV, you really don't need that many carbohydrates, because carbohydrates are fuel, and your body takes that fuel, carbohydrates, and turns it into fat. Okay? Storage fat, not usable cellular fat. So keep that in mind. And I believe that's where all of this started. Sugar also, if you don't know, has the capability of changing your pleasure center in your brain, just like heroin does, to where you crave it more often and you want it more frequently. I challenge any of you that are watching this to wake up tomorrow and to cut out adding sugar to anything you eat, or to actually look at the labels and see how much sugar is on a product, and try to eat under 100 grams in carbohydrates for the next 2 weeks and tell me how you feel. And the first 3 days are going to be rough, not going to lie. You're going to have some brain fog. You're going to be tired. You're going to be hungry for the first 3 days, but then it goes away. It's just like any other drug or addiction. If you stop drinking caffeine, you're going to have a problem. If you start smoking, you're going to have a problem. And if you're Charlie Sheen and you're smoking crack, and whatnot, you're going to have a problem. So you're going to have a problem when you do this, but I tell you, it's well worth it. So back to our topic at hand. I don't like politics. I really don't. They don't care about us. They just don't. If they did, we wouldn't be having these issues and problems. There would be one person that would be trying to fix everything, not side with one group or another group, or trying to raise a ruckus with this group or that group. What's that saying that Jesus Christ, not Jesus Christ, but one of the presidents, and I forget his, Abraham Lincoln. A house divided is a house that's not happy. We are a house divided. And the funny thing is the government doesn't care if we're divided. They want us divided. They want us divided in so many different ways that we don't get along no matter what. Because if we could get along, then we could put our foot down and tell them to stop doing this stuff to us. But they just don't care. I don't care if it's red. I don't care if it's blue. And if you point a finger at somebody and say they did this or they did that, if you go back far enough, you'll find out that the other side did the same thing historically down the road every time. So they just don't care about our health. I don't think they care about us. They just care about the green that are going in their pockets. And that's really truly the one color they see. And red and blue don't make green for us. Red and blue make purple. We all know what purple is from: bruises, injuries, beating ourselves up, being mad at our neighbor or our brother or the person that lives down the street or somebody on YouTube that said something we didn't like, and we have to lash out because we're all chemically imbalanced from the shitty food we're eating. But that's the way our government wants us to be. And if you don't think so, and you think this video is all full of shit, I challenge you to start actually researching what I just said and look into it. Otherwise, this is Dan from I'm all over the place, because you'll see I am all over the place. Thanks. Be nice to your neighbor. Don't give a shit what color they like. Look at the car they drive. Have a conversation. Be nice. See ya.